Heidi-ho, Ranger Joe, it's the Jim and Terry Show. Poetry doesn't become us. Well, we like to consider ourselves singers and songwriters, but Jim and I are just two retired guys with a coffee sharing some thoughts on the day. News of the world, if you would like. And the news of the world is along the lines of this title, Follow the Money. So says Bloomberg. Bloomberg, that conservative economic journal that has podcasts and interviews online, and you can see a diametrically opposed, that means exactly 180 degrees from what Trump has been saying about America's economy. It's the greatest, it's the best, everybody's throwing money at America, all the tariffs are working, money's coming in, billions of dollars in America, they've been screwing us over for so long, now all the countries of the world have to, blah, 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 blah. What's the reality? There is no metric supplied by the Trump administration that bears any resemblance to reality. From Scott Bessent to spokespeople for the White House to anybody that bears any resemblance to reality. Todd Blanche giving testimony for his nomination. One of the most corrupt AGs ever. Trump's personal lawyer now in votes gathered for Todd Blanche. What? Well, I'm not worried about the corruption. That's the least of our problems. We have to survive as a country. Canada does, before we consider what to do about the corrupt gangster next door. Looking over the fence, maybe we should have a perimeter wall. Maybe we should be the ones building the wall. Forget Trump and America and Mexico. We should build the wall. Why? To keep out the corruption, to keep out the claims of fabricated reality that seem to become the Trump administration. All that glitters will die. How about that for a title for a book for all about the Trump administration, Trump 2.0, the worst administration in American history ever. Could it be the worst and the last administration in America ever? Well, not if the Jim and Terry Show can help it. We've got our plans. We're digging in, elbows up, and we're trying to help our neighbors to the south find their way forward. Jim and Terry Show, save the world. One country at a time. Well, we're working on America at the moment. Finding out all the ways in which they claim to be the beacon on the hill. They claim to be the country that's got all the cards, the country that has all the money, the country that has all the weapons. And yet now we learn that perhaps not. Perhaps they don't have enough weapons. Do you read about the leaks that were coming out of the Pentagon that says, hey, we better not quite shoot so many missiles at Iran, we may be running a little shy ourselves. And then what about all the cards? We have all the cards. Well, the war that was going to be with Iran and be short-lived, and we bombed them back to the Stone Age. And all of those claims, not one is true. And the thing has been going on for, 5 months now? The straits are open. No, they're closed. No, they're open. No, they're closed. That has rippled up and down the fossil fuel stock markets and indices, all to the benefit of one Donald J. Trump. If that ain't corruption, I don't know what is. Drain the swamp, put it in the reflecting pool. That seems like a workable strategy. Did you read about all the trials against people who were supposedly cutting up the beautiful American blue reflecting pool, that all those cases were dropped by Jeanine Pirro, nonetheless. Fox News host Jeanine Pirro found that she didn't have the evidence, and yet when it was first revealed, she claimed she had all the video that would convict and lead to trials, and lo and behold, if she dropped them all, especially against the Olympic cyclist who was found to be reaching his hand in this pool and showing the flapping liner. Yeah, strange stuff going on in the United States administration. But is it enough to take them down? Is it enough corruption that Americans will finally take to the streets and vote with their feet in protest? Or are they going to be swinging the pendulum in political allegiances, going to what is called the more left wing of the Democratic Party? The election results in Michigan seem to be interesting, for sure. Can the Democratic Party be the big tent? Well, that's not even what I'm trying to talk about. This podcast is all about follow the money with one Matt Winkler, whose report is on a podcast on YouTube from the Bloomberg podcast. The Bloomberg podcast. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, the show, the guy reminds me of an older Tucker Carlson with a bow tie, pinstripe shirt, and dark suit jacket. And so disarmingly simple in what he says. He is commenting that Canada has outpaced everybody else in the G7, and everybody else includes the United States. So while the United States posted negative job growth, as in job losses, 23,000 last month, and while the inflation rate seems to be rising in the United States, he goes on to say that there is an investment boom in Canada. An investment boom. Canada is experiencing a historic period of overseas investment with approximately $183 billion, not from tariffs, from investment in Canadian industries and infrastructure, following into its stocks and bonds over the past year. And he does isolate one factor that we've tried to say over and over again on the Jim and Terry Show. Yes, we don't claim to have exclusive knowledge or inside information, but we've been pointing out since March of 2025 that Mark Carney has tipped the tide in favor of Canada. And his speech at Davos about the rupture between Canada and the U.S., between the U.S. and the world, those two are indicators of just how serious this rupture is. The Carney factor: Prime Minister Mark Carney took office in March of 2025, and Carney is described as highly capable and reasonable. And that is the key point. Reasonable. Not someone who you wake up at 2 a.m, you find a tweet of foreign policy that you're declaring war on somebody or that you've launched an attack on somebody. No, you've got a reasonable leader, and that apparently is worth its weight in gold. People of the world enjoy the stability that reason brings. And Mark Carney is the epitome of reason, including his own little jibe the other day when he got up to the podium and said, "Oh, my monitor has stopped working here." And instead of blaming the operator, he said, "Unlike some world leaders I know, I'm not going to read a conspiracy into the breaking of technology." So when things don't work, you don't go scapegoating, and that's Mark Carney. So it's very interesting to see this unfold in an American newscast on an American program, finding this statement, "Follow the money," all the way to Carney's Canada. I'll put a link in the description so you can listen to the interview yourself. The economic resilience of Canada is unmatched. Unlike the US and the Eurozone, the EU, Canada has seen its stock market outperform global peers by over 40%. And this has benefited from an inflation rate that's trending downward, not upward. Trade and geopolitics. This conversation touches on the tense trade relationship with the U.S. Provinces have responded to American tariffs by restricting U.S. alcohol imports, and Canada is diversifying its international partnerships, including a major deal to purchase 12 German submarines, which are not only to be made in Canada, serviced in Canada, but participate in joint naval operations as part of naval interoperability. Canada is stepping up, and people of the world are paying attention. Winkler, who is the speaker, the analyst from Bloomberg, characterizes Canada's current strategy as one of diligent, steady, hard work, and although he didn't use the term elbows up, I will insert it there. And all of this effort has made it a highly attractive destination for global investors, despite regional economic tensions with the U.S. Canada is standing tall, standing proud, not standing alone, but standing with global investment flooding into Canada, the likes of which Winkler says hasn't been seen in over 100 years. Never before. Go Canada, go! Elbows up into the corners as those tariff trade talks resume. Bye-bye for now.
It's complicated, this relationship I have with my morning coffee. It's from the way that